media on YouTube. It's you guys, Sports Live, broadcasting live today, December 29th, 2025. We'll be talking college football and NFL football today. In the college football part, we will not do analysis on bowl games or on quarterfinal games since that has already been done, but we will look at who played in the bowl games this weekend, including quarterfinal scores and what their scores were. The scores we go over are from games from December 22nd through 27th of 2025. After this, we will go over who will be playing between December 29th, 2025 through January 5th, 2026. No other coverage of college football for NCAA Division I, FCS, Division or Division III, since Division II National Championship has already occurred, and Division III and FCS will have championship games in early January. Reviewing bowl games, let's get to this. You had the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Washington State 34, Utah State 21. Bush's Boca Raton Bowl, Louisville 27, Toledo 22. The New Orleans Bowl, Western Kentucky 27, Southern Miss 16. Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl, Ohio University 17, UNLV 10. The Sheraton Hawaii Bowl, Hawaii 35, California 31. The Game Above Sports Bowl, Northwestern 34, Central Michigan 7. The Rate Bowl, Minnesota 20, New Mexico 17 in overtime. You have the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl, UTSA 57, Florida International 20. You had the Pop-Tarts Bowl with BYU 25, Georgia Tech 21. The Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, Virginia 13, Missouri 7. The Kinder's Texas Bowl, Houston 38, LSU 35. The Isleta, New Mexico Bowl, North Texas 49, San Diego State 47. The Go Bowling Military Bowl, East Carolina 23, Pittsburgh 17. The Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl, Penn State 22, Clemson 10. The Wasabi Fenway Bowl, Army 41, Yukon 16. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, Fresno State 18, Miami and Ohio 3. Upcoming bowl games or playoff games are as follows, and this will be for December 29th through December 29th of 2025 through January 2nd of 2025. You have the J-Lab Birmingham Bowl, which will be Georgia Southern versus App State. You have the Radiance Technology Independence Bowl, which will be Coastal Carolina versus Louisiana Tech. You have the Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl, which will be Tennessee versus Illinois. You have the Valero Alamo Bowl, which will be USC versus TCU. You have the ReliaQuest Bowl, which will be Iowa versus Vanderbilt. You have Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, which will be Arizona State versus Duke. The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl will be Michigan versus Texas. The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl will be Nebraska versus Utah. The college football quarterfinals at the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic, Miami and Florida versus Ohio State. You have college football playoff quarterfinals at the Capital One Orange Bowl, which will be Oregon versus Texas Tech. You have the college football playoff quarterfinal at the Rose Bowl presented by Prudential, which will be Alabama versus Indiana. You have college football playoff quarterfinals at the All-State Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss versus Georgia. You have the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, which will be Rice versus Texas State. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which will be Navy versus Cincinnati. You have another bowl game that'll be a Holiday Bowl, which will be Arizona versus SMU. You have the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which will be Wake Forest versus Mississippi State. The winners of the quarterfinal playoff games will play on the semifinals on January 8th or January 9th of 2026. Those semifinal winners will play for the national championship on January 19th, 2026. One other bit of college football news before going on to the NFL side of things. Actually, there's several that I have to list. There will be other bowl games, but these bowl games are all-star games, and these are ways for players to be seen by. I mean, it'll be a game format, and they will have a few practices leading up to the event, and that I'm going to talk, or the events that I'm talking about. But some of these events, you'll have the best of NAIA, Division I, Division II, Division III, and you'll have various scouts there for the NFL, the Canadian Football League, and other professional football leagues. So I'm going to go over these bowl games and when they are, regarding the All-Star games, to where they can be a showcase for potential NFL talent. You have the 2026 Panini Senior Bowl. That's scheduled for January 31st, 2026 in Mobile, Alabama, at the University of South Alabama at Hancock Whitney Stadium, and kickoff will be around 1:30 p.m. that day. The Senior Bowl will serve as a premier showcase of top college football players for the preparing for the NFL draft. It'll feature 110 to 120 top college football prospects initially, but it'll be narrowed down to 100 for the game. Let's see. Next, you'll have the East-West Shrine Bowl. That is January 27th, 2026. And that'll take place in Frisco, Texas. You have the Hula Bowl, which will be in Dillard, Florida, January 10th, 2026. You'll have the Dream Bowl, January 11th, 2026 in Dallas, Texas. The American Bowl, January 22nd, 2026 in Orlando, Florida. And then you'll have the All-State HBCU Legacy Bowl, February 21st, 2026 in New Orleans. Now that we've gotten through the college football discussion side of things, let's move to the NFL schedule. Or actually, let's move to the NFL side of things for discussion. Basically, we are in week 18 of the NFL regular season. So this is the last regular season game for the NFL before the playoffs begin. Also, at the time that I have this stuff prepared, they do not have kickoff times for any of these games. Now, I do not know if there will be any Thursday games. I do not know if there'll be any Monday Night Football games, because they're waiting until all of the games from the previous week will have ended, and that will be this evening. So these game times will not be known. However, known kickoff times in NFL for Sunday games and all times according to Central Time Zone would be noon, 3:05 p.m., 3:25 p.m., and the Sunday Night Football game would take place on 7:20 p.m. ish. So again, I do not have the kickoff times for that. I do not know if there will be any. I don't know if any of these games will be on Thursday Night Football, which Thursday Night Football is typically on Amazon. And then I do not know if any will be on Monday Night Football, which that typically is on ESPN. And due to the fact that there may be a lot of games, they could have other dates, that they could have for games. But again, that's not established yet. So what I'll do is I'll go over who is playing. I'll mention what the pros think regarding, the margin of victory and the over-under, and then I will go over my thoughts on that, whether I agree or whether I'll go over or under. Some of the games do not have any of the over-under or the margin of victory stuff included. So in those games, I'm just going to make my own personal prediction on who I think will win the NFL game in question. So again, the dates for the Week 18 games, according to this, it looks like it'll be anytime between December 31st, New Year's Eve, and January 7th of 2026 for Week 18 games. So with that, what I'll do is I'll go over information. Let's go with it. You have New Orleans versus Atlanta. The pros favor Atlanta to win by 3. The over-under is 42.5 or 43. You have New York versus Buffalo. The pros favor Buffalo to win by 11.5 over New York Jets. No information is available on the over-under, so I'm not going to worry about that one. You have Detroit versus Chicago. The pros favor Chicago to win by 1.5 or 2 points, which is almost too close to call. The over-under is 50.5 or 51. You have Cleveland versus Cincinnati. And in that game, the pros favor Cincinnati to defeat Cleveland by 7. The over-under is 44.5. Hello to you, AJ. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me today. Let's see. You have the Los Angeles Chargers versus Denver. In that game, the pros favor Denver to win by 7.5 or 8 points. The over-under is 38.5 or 39. You have Kansas City versus Las Vegas. The pros favor Kansas City to win that game by 6 over Las Vegas. The over-under is 35.5 or 36. You have Arizona versus the Los Angeles Rams. In that game, no information is available for who they feel is going to win the game by margin and or over-under. So I will make a prediction here in a bit on that game in terms of who I think will win. You have Green Bay versus Minnesota. In that game, Minnesota is favored to win by 5.5 or 6. I'm sorry, by 6.5 or 7 points. Sorry, I had to read that right. The over-under is 37.5 or 38. Next, you have Miami versus New England. In that game, the pros favor New England to win by 10.5 or 11 points. The over-under is 46.5 or 47. You have Dallas versus the New York Giants. In that game, the pros favor Dallas to win by 4.5 or 5 points. The over-under is 52.5 or 53. In the Washington-Philadelphia game, no information is available on the over-under or on the margin of victory, so I will make a prediction here shortly in terms of who I think will win that game. You have Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. And in that game, the pros favor Baltimore to win by 3 over Pittsburgh. The over-under is 42.5 or 43. And I'll just go over these real quick. In the New Orleans-Atlanta game, I agree with the pros with Atlanta winning the game by 3. I'm going to go under the 43. In the New York Jets-Buffalo game, I do agree Buffalo wins the game, but I do not think that the game is going to be won by 12 points. I think it's going to be a 7-point victory for Buffalo. No information is available on the over-under, so I'm not going to worry about that. Next, you have the Detroit-Chicago game. In that game, the pros do favor Chicago to win by 2 over Detroit, and I do agree with that. I think it'll go under the 51. Next, you have Cleveland versus Cincinnati. And in that game, the pros favor Cincinnati to defeat Cleveland by 7. I agree with that. I think that's a good call. I'm going to go over the 45. You have the Los Angeles Chargers versus Denver. And in that game, the pros favor Denver to beat Los Angeles Chargers by 7.5 or 8 points. I disagree with that. I do think Denver wins the game, but I do not think it's going to be by 8 points. It'll be by 5. Excuse me. In the Kansas City-Las Vegas game, the pros have Kansas City winning that game by 6. And I'm going to completely disagree with that. Kansas City is struggling. They've been struggling all year, and they're not doing well, and they lost their main quarterback to injury. So I'm completely going against the odds on that one, and I'm going to have Las Vegas win that game by 4 as an underdog over Kansas City. And I know that's probably a monkey wrench, but that's how it goes sometimes. And I'm going to go over the 36. I think more points will be scored. In the Arizona-Los Angeles Rams game, no information is available on the margin of victory or the over-under, so I'm going to make my own prediction and say that Arizona beats Los Angeles Rams by 6. I know that might seem out there too, but I'm going to stick with it. In the Green Bay, in the Green Bay-Minnesota game, you have They have Minnesota favored to win by 7 points. I agree with that. I think Minnesota is better than Green Bay. And I'm going to go over to the 38. Next, you have Miami versus New England. I do think New England wins the game, but I do not think that they're going to win by the 11 points. I think reality is that New England will win by 6. So that's what I'm going to go with, and I'm going under the 47. In the Dallas New York Giants game, the pros favor Dallas to win by 5 over the New York Giants, and I do agree with that. I think that's a good call on that one. And I'm going to go under the 53 on that one. Next, you have Washington versus Philadelphia. No information is available on what they think the margin is going to be or the over-under, so I'm going to make my own prediction on that one and say that Philadelphia will beat Washington by 6. Next, you have Baltimore versus Pittsburgh. In that game, the pros favor Baltimore to defeat Pittsburgh by 3. I agree with that. I think that's a legitimate call, and I'm going to go over the 43. So, we have a few more games to discuss. Let's see. We have Seattle versus San Francisco. And in that game, no information is available on the margin of victory or the over-under. So I am going to call San Francisco defeat Seattle by 3 points. You have Carolina versus Tampa Bay. In that game, the pros favor Tampa Bay to defeat Carolina by 3.5 or 4 points. And I do agree with that. I think that's a good call. The over-under is 44.5 or 45, and I'm going to go over on that. In the Tennessee-Jacksonville game, the pros have Jacksonville defeating Tennessee by 10.5 or 11 points, and I think that is way too big of a margin. I don't think Jacksonville is that good over Tennessee. However, I do think Jacksonville wins the game, but I think it's going to be by 5 points and not by 11. I'm also going to go over the 45.5 or 46. So the over-under is 45.5 or 46, and I'm going to go over on that one. And here's a monkey wrench. You have Indianapolis versus Houston, and I know Indianapolis has, been pulling in all the Hail Marys and all the tricks to get into the playoffs, and I now know that they're not in the playoffs. However, despite that, the pros favor Houston to defeat Indianapolis by 10 points. The over-under is 40.5 or 41. In that game, I completely disagree with the pros on that one. And, again, this is just a pick. I could be wrong, and if I am, I'm okay with that. But they have Houston winning by 10. I disagree completely. I think Indianapolis is going to win the game by 3, and I'll go over the 41. So there you have it. That is the college football discussion. That is the NFL Week 18 picks. We will have another NFL, we'll have another college football live stream with NFL stuff next week, probably on Monday of next week. We will have our Wednesday, we will return to our normal Wednesday live stream with the hoops and pucks and Wednesdays. Oh my. We will do that Wednesday morning on New Year's Eve. Also on New Year's Eve, we are going to do a big thing. We are going to do a Ring in the New Year 2026 Sports Palooza. Yes, I said Sports Palooza. We are going to talk sports, and it's going to be a variety of different things. We're going to ring in the new year for 2026, and then we're going to keep discussing sports for a bit. That will be New Year's Eve night, and I expect to start that night broadcast at 11:45 p.m. Central Time. I will be doing more promotions of that as time goes on, but just know Wednesday morning on New Year's Eve, we will have our normal hoops and pucks and Wednesdays. Oh my! And in that, all games in question will take place on Wednesday, December 31st. So that's why it's the Wednesdays. Oh my! we will have additional other live streams as they come available, and I'll let you know as soon as I do. So those are just some announcements. I know some of you have been asking about sports action videos. Those will be resuming. As far as I know, they will be resuming on January 2nd. I don't know specifically where I'm going yet for those sports action videos, but just know that there will be some sports action videos, and those will resume on January 2nd. We'll continue to have breaking news in the sports world as soon as they come out. Hello there, AJ. I'm glad to see you. Anyway, if I didn't see you in the chat, I do apologize for that. I try to do the best I can with it and everything. So anyway, that's all I have for the college football and NFL discussion side of things. So we're getting down to the last bit of college football season, and then we will have there will be a few all-star college games as a means to showcase their talent for NFL recruitment. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning into this broadcast today. I do greatly appreciate each and every one of you. If you will, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the notification bell so you can be made aware of when I'm doing sports action videos, when I have sports education videos, when I broadcast live, or when I have breaking news in the sports world. If you wish to subscribe to the channel, it is greatly appreciated. You can do so two ways. One, you can go to www.youtube.com, the slash symbol, the at symbol, SPORTSLOV, or you can go on the YouTube search tab and type in Sportslov Media, SPORTSLOV as the first word, media as the second word, MEDIA. Excuse me. You'll know it's me because I'll have Sportslov Media burned into a basketball as my avatar. I'm also on Twitter X. My handle there is at BobAmin16. That is the at symbol, BOBAMIN 16. That's my Twitter X handle. I also apologize for the raspy voice. I've been a little bit under the weather, but I'm getting better and feeling better. So just bear with me on that, and I'm sorry if it's a little raspy, but I'm doing the best I can with that. So thank you for understanding. Any other questions, comments regarding college football or NFL football? Well, if not, thank you very much. I hope each and every one of you have a great day.